So good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me clear and louder?
Good afternoon.
Yeah,
Good
good
afternoon, Chief.
afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon to everybody. Let us start. So we stopped here in the last class. We have seen there are certain safeties for this is the starting and reversing. So there are some safeties provided, as we know that there should not, there can be, there will be some carryover of oil and water which should not get accumulated and remain there in the system. So that's why it has to be drained. It means we'll have to, first thing, we'll have to minimize the carryover of oil and water, and whatever after minimizing also, since it cannot be made it zero. So what it carryover, it should be as minimum as possible. And then in the system there are drains provided, it has to be drained. It should not be remain there in the system. And there are safety or the relief valves is provided. And if we are using as per the requirement, if we are using the safety valves, it can be it will be located in the main air manifold. Individual branch line does not require that if it is a safety valve and the relief valve. And then there will be a flame arresters, uh, and there can be the manufacturer can use the bursting disc, also the bursting cap, where the BMW uses bursting caps and the bursting disc. So there it has to be in the branch line. It means it cannot be in the manifold. It means what does it mean, the manifold? As I told you, that is nothing but a pipe. So this pipe, from where all the branch line which is going to the individual cylinder. So this is the manifold. It means for Sulzer they use the safety valve or the relief valve that can be provided in the manifold. But the moment it is in the bursting disc and the bursting cap, that has to be in the individual branch line. That is the reason you have seen in the BMW it is in the branch line. Individual branch line will have that. And there is also a flame arrestor. So this flame arrestor, it will be on the individual line. There will be flame arrestor for uh, reversible engine. It is on the individual branch line. It is provided. So a non-reversible engine, it is on the manifold. It is provided that flame trap or the bursting disc, it can be on the manifold, it can be provided. So that why it is provided, because if there is any explosion, so that pressure can damage our pipe, the manifold or the branch pipes. So to prevent that excess pressure, we do release either by relief valve or by the bursting disc we relieve, so that our piping system remain intact. Otherwise, it will lead to an engine room fire. So the pressure has to be released. That's the reason we do release the pressure. Now there will be when there is a, suppose there is a leakage of the air starting valve, cylinder air starting valve. So that leakage, the flame will come to the air manifold or the air starting air or the starting air system. So in that case, there can be an explosion, because starting was we have seen there are water and oil is carryover is there. So if that becomes fuel and heat is added and the ample oxygen is always there because it is starting airline, so there will be an explosion. So what it does, the flame arrestor, if you see the flame arrestor, how does it look like? It will be like a plate, cylindrical plate, and this plate is, so this will be like this is a plate what we have for the, and there will be a lot of holes. So there will be holes here, and there will be number of holes. And when the flame is passing through, this plate actually is made such a material so that the thermal conductivity is high, it can dissipate the heats. When the flame is passing through, then what will happen? Suppose one side there is a flame. So, and this hot gas also it's passing through. Then what will happen? This flame has got an energy, heat energy, and that will get dissipated here. When it is passing through it, this metal will absorb that heat, and then the temperature will, the heat energy will reduce, and at a temperature it will bring down below the ignition temperature, which will not support. It means at a higher temperature, that is higher heat energy, and it will support a combustion. But if the temperature is reduced, then what will happen? The heat energy is reduced, and that will not support for the combustion of the, though it is having the oxygen as well as the fuel, but it will not give support. Another thing, when it is passing through this, if you look at this from side, so there will be a lot of holes. So this hole on the flame front is passing through this, then what will happen? So this flame has got a heat energy, total heat energy. And when it is passing through this, that flame will divide into small flame. Then only it will come out from this side. So what is happening? Suppose it is having a heat energy, enthalpy is H. So when it is passing through it, small flame formed, this H will be divided into the number of holes, it will be divided into that. So the each flame front which is passing through this will be, N is the number of hole. Equally, suppose flame front is trying to pass through this plate. So what will happen? Individual flame front will have a much lesser heat energy when it is passing through. And that heat energy will not be support, and also there will be a dissipation. It means it will get dissipated because this metal is highly conductive to the heat. So this is one effect. Another effect is it gets dissipated, and the heat energy will fall below, or heat energy which will not support the combustion. So the flame front in this area, after that there will not be any flame. There will be hot gases, but there will not be any flame. But temperature also has reduced, so this side temperature will be reduced. So this is the flame arrestor. That is the way flame is been arrested. It means we have arrested the flame. We are not allowing it to pass through this plate. So before that there will be flame, but after that there will not be any flame. And then there is a non-return valve has to be fitted. This is another safety requirement. Non-return valve, where it is fitted, it will be fitted after the automatic air starting valve. We have seen that the Sulzer, that automatic air starting valve, we have seen, if we look at it, so this one. So this is the automatic starting valve. After that there is a non-return valve, and then it is going to the air starting system. So if there is an explosion, that or there is a flame, number one, it will prevent, but there can be an explosion in the manifold, because this is at the branch line it is fitted, and for a reversible engine. And what will happen? That flame, suppose there is an explosion here, starting air line, that can connect to the reservoir, because this air is coming from the reservoir, air bottle. Then what will happen? If this flame travels to the air bottle, there will be an explosion there, and that will be a catastrophic disaster for the vessel and the engine room fire, and also you will not have any store energy, compressed air also. So to avoid that, as per the requirement, so that if there is a flame here, that should not travel to the air cylinder or the air reservoir. So non-return valve is put. If you see the BMW one, also it is the same. It has to be in between the air starting line and your reservoir. So it will always, it is after that, means towards your air starting line, it is after the your automatic air starting valve. It means here, if you see, this is the air is coming here. And this is our automatic air stirring valve for the B&W. Our non-return valve will be here. So there will be a non-return valve which is here. And B&W uses non-return valve, this one, you will see it looks exactly like a compressor valve. You all have air stirring valve compressor, what you have seen, it is exactly like that. There will be valve plate, valve seat, and your spring plates. So it will be, and after that, that is the air stirring line, which is going to the engine. Yeah, any question? Somebody try to say something. So this is the non-return valve we have. So that is also another requirement for the air stirring system. Now the flame trap, as I told you, the material, the brass or aluminum alloy, because they are means the thermal conductivity is high, so that it can dissipate, it can absorb the more energy to reduce the flame or the gas's temperature. It reduces so that when flame is passing, it reduces below the heat energy, which does not support the combustion. And that is the high specific heat capacity. And then number of holes and bore, which we have told it will be, and thickness of the plate, that will allow also, then it will pass, air will pass through but not the flame. That is the principle of flame arrestor. And this main air stirring line, that is the reason why it is fitted, it will restrict the risk of flame which will travel from the cylinder. If there is a leakage, then there will be definitely during the combustion the flame will come. It should not propagate. It should not go to the air stirring manifold. That is the prevention. It means if you want to prevent it should not reach to the air stirring manifold. Where you need to put it? You need to put it in the branch line. Usually on the cylinder head, it fits, and then your pipe is connected. So that is the way the flame propagation can be prevented. Now there is another safety we have seen, that is the turning gear safety interlock, which is very important to us, because if turning gear is engaged and the engine is started, there are at time there are many engine got damaged. Damage means what is the problem here? Because our pinion is smaller in diameter, which is connected to attached to our turning gear, and which is rotating a large wheel, which is the flywheel. So if what we turn, actually the turning gear turn the flywheel. So the engine is rotating at very slow speed. Now if it is engaged and you give a kick, then what will happen? It will rotate in higher speed, and this rotation will be very high speed because the diameter is less. So what will happen? This will get damaged, as well as flywheel teeth will get damaged. And once the flywheel teeth get damaged, you'll have to change the flywheel. So there has to be a safety interlock that we have seen. There are valves provided. Unless it is disengaged, the air will not go to the air stirring system. And this cylinder air stirring, it means the cylinder starting air valve should not leak. It means we must ensure that there should not be any leakage. That's the reason periodically we do the maintenance of the air stirring valve, cylinder air stirring valve. So how do we check that it is leaking? So there are ways we can check during the round. What is being checked? The temperature of the manifold and the branch line. If we check the temperature, the infrared gun, we know that if the temperature is abnormally high, it means there is a leakage, and it will be it means the valve cylinder, each cylinder has got a valve. The valve which is leaking, that area will be very high. Difference of temperature will be very high. So adjacent to this pipe, adjacent to the valve, the temperature will be high. That is the reason we can suspect that the particular valve is leaking. And if it is badly leaking, then what will happen? The temperature will be very high, even it can reach to the red hot condition. It means the temperature is so high. So now, how do you test it? How do you confirm? We know that we can, during the operation of the engine, we can check by the temperature variation, temperature difference. We can check that if abnormal temperature, we can suspect that valve is leaking. But we need to confirm it. How do we confirm it? When engine is stopped, we can check it. How do you check it? When engine is stopped, if for an example, let us go to the diagram of the starting diagram. So here, this is the line which is coming to the distributor. And here, one valve is not shown, there will be a manual valve which is going to the distributor. So we can shut it off. Suppose we shut that valve. Then what will happen? We have shut that valve, and when engine is stopped, there is no pressure here because it is already drained out. Now if we put it to start, then what will happen? Will the engine start? Engine will not start because there is no air to the distributor. This cylinder air starting valve will open only when the distributor is giving signal to the particular unit. Then only this will open. So in this condition, what we are actually doing, or we can open this valve is shut, even we don't have to put it to start. What we can do, we can activate this by manually open this valve. Once we open this valve, then what will happen? This line will be connected to the outlet because manually this valve is put it down. Then what will happen? This manifold, air manifold will be pressurized. And air manifold is pressurized means this side is pressurized. This side, for an example, our bottle pressure is 30 bar now at this moment. This will become 30 bar. But our air starting distributor air is shut. So in that case, this side there will not be. It means this is operated from the distributor pressure, which is signal pilot air is coming from the distributor. Now distributor does not have any air, so there is no air here. So it will remain in closed position. So what will happen? This position, this is the 30 bar, it is here. If it is leaking, you are keeping the indicator cock open, you will see the air is coming. Though the engine is not turning, but air is coming from the indicator cock, by which you know that there is a leakage on that particular unit valve, and then you do the maintenance, we replace it, and overall the one which is leaking. So that is the way we need to test. If you have suspect, we need to test that whether the valve is leaking or not. It means the moment you pressurize this is pressurized because of this air starting valve is open. So in that case, the moment it is pressurized, all the unit cylinder air starting valve, the bottom chamber is pressurized. But none of the engine, if no leakage, engine cylinder should get air. Air will not get because there is no distributor air. But if there is any leakage, that will try to escape through the indicator cock. So you know that particular unit, it is leaking, and you do the maintenance. So this is the way in port it has been checked. So for the B&W, what we do, it means for B&W, there is no manually, you cannot open this valve. So as last class, I asked you one question that what we do actually when in port, we turn a wheel. But turning the wheel, we actually block it so that it does not turn. It is manually blocked because of that frictional grip. And in when you are standby, before that means when you are trying the engine or the engine is operation, that time we that plate moves actually upward direction so that there is no frictional grip. This cylinder can operate this valve. So in that case, what will happen? You'll shut the distributor valve and you'll have to put it in the start position, the lever, so that this valve can be opened. Once you put it in the start position, then the signal comes here and we can open this valve. And then we can check if there is any leakage of the cylinder air starting valve or not. So this is the way we test it. And the leaky one is detected, and then we can repair it, we can overhaul it. Now, what is the air starting valve material we do use? The mild steel we do use, and the spindle is high tensile stainless steel, because it has to be high tensile, because it is spring is Tesfaun, tell me, Teka.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
I have one question here in the air starting system, and I want to share also my experience on ship to my friends.
Tell me.
One time when we were passing Panama, we were passing Panama Canal many times.
Yeah.
And then in the Panama Canal, there is one regulation that before entering to the canal, the ship must be the air by one air bottle. The engine must be start more than 6 times.
Yeah.
This is their
that regulation. Is the local regulation. Yeah, tell me.
Local regulation, yeah. And then when we test the engine, we cannot start 6 times. Just only we can reach 5 times, but we cannot start 6 times. And it was a big trouble for us.
Yeah.
And then when the chief engineer report the case to the company, the superintendent recommended us to check if the air starting valve is leaking or not.
Yeah.
If the air starting valve is leaking, that can be also one reason that it cannot start 6 times.
Yeah.
So we tried everything. We check, as you said now, we close the manual valve going to the distributor, and then we start when we start the starting button, we check the starting air valves. But after we fix that one also, we cannot run the engine 6 times. So my question is that, is there a regulation like this, I mean in the IMO publications or somewhere, that how many times a ship should have to be started?
Yeah, there are
I mean that I am asking, sir, I'm asking this question that because the company also request from the ship, from the engine maker, technician was coming, and then he cannot also solve the problem.
Yeah.
But finally, the port state man, he allow us to pass by five times.
Yeah, because then it become local authority. If they accept, it's okay. Yes, there is a regulation that IMO, as per the IMO, there are regulation, and the classification society, there are regulation. What is the regulation actually? It is there in your syllabus. It is there in your handout. So there is a 12 consecutive start for the reversible engine, and 6 consecutive start for your non-reversible unidirectional engine. But that is been done during the sea trial, during the delivery of the vessel. That time it has to be complied with, that 12 consecutive start. So 6 consecutive start is the local regulation, but there is another thing in the automation, that is the starting air system. There is 3 consecutive start. So the 3 consecutive start, when it is fail, then it gives you an alarm that fail to start. So that is there incorporated in the alarm monitoring system. It means it will try 3 times. When you put it in auto, then what will happen if you keep it in auto? And for an example, BMS, bridge maneuvering system, you put it to dead slow. From stop, you put it to dead slow add, for an example. So what will do? It will try 3 times. So one time it did not start, another time there is a time delay. So another time it will consecutive 3 times it will try, and it starts even third time, it's okay. If it does not start in the third time, then it will give you an alarm that failed to start. It is there. But 6 consecutive start, it is not there after the C trial. During the C trial, it has been tested 12 consecutive. After that 6 consecutive, it is a local regulation. The Panama Authority says that you try with 6. But they also practical. You know, they are, well, any country can go above IMO. There is no issue. But they'll have to be also practical. If it is 5th time it has been tried out and it is expected that it will not fail, there are reasons for that why it did not start. What you did actually, one bottle, and also the IMO regulation, what it says, the total capacity of the bottle. It's not only one bottle. You have two bottle capacity will 12 consecutive start. Understood. But in your case, what you have done, what you said is one bottle, correct, Rekha? Teka, that's found. So IMO, as per IMO, it is the total air capacity. It means both the bottle is filled up, and then there should not be any filling after that. And then 12 consecutive start, it has been tried out. During the C trial, it is a class requirement, classification society requirement. It has to be passed. Then only ship can get certificate. Otherwise, ship will not get class certificate. So, but there are various reasons for that why in 6th time it failed. It is not only the air starting valve leakage. Air starting valve, if it is leaking, tell me, I think, yeah, it is one of the chapter I covered already. So tell me this, I think this chapter only I had covered this. If this is leaking, then why it will not, number of start it will affect. My question is clear to you all?
No, Chief, it's not clear the question.
Yeah, this is the air starting cylinder, air starting valve. If it is leaking, will it affect number of start? Yeah, I knew. Tell me.
Yes, Chief, we're gonna lose air. Yeah, it will affect the number of starting because we are losing air. You know.
Can you go little details? We are losing air in the cylinder, isn't it? It is not external leakage, but it will affect the number of starting. But can you go a bit in little detail? Yeah, 3 of you raise your hand. Tell me one by one.
Okay, Chief. The first one is we're going to lose the air. I mean, instead of the air going to the perfect place, I mean, the cylinder which is ready to be fired, the air is losing in the other cylinders. The other reason is it's going against the firing cylinder, because if the air is going to the other cylinders, which is the leaking one, which is coming to be pressurized. That means it's like affecting the cylinder which is ready to be injected with air.
Yes, absolutely correct. It will give during the compression stroke, the air will be injected, which will give a braking effect. That crash stop, what has been, we have seen what happened during the crash stop, it will happen that. So it will oppose for the motion. And somebody else also raised hand. Anybody wants to say something or the same thing you wanted to say?
Yes, Chief Sophonius.
Yeah, Sophonius, tell me.
Yeah, one is what he said. It will be resisting the motion.
Yeah.
But the other thing will be if we are losing air on somewhere else, not even in the unit. Even if we are losing somewhere in the flange, that means we are losing the mass of air flowing to the unit that we want to move. so it will affect the
Yes, absolutely. There can be external leakage. What Sophonius is telling, that is the external leakage. If there is external leakage, then also it can happen. It means the number of start you'll be losing. And plus, uh, this is sometime you say, if you are on auto, you lose more air. If you are in manual, you lose less air. Why? Because automatic system is based on the timing, that is fixed timing of the RPM, the changeover RPM from air to fuel. If comes, then it's changeover, it stops the air. Otherwise, it will not stop. So manually, we can see physically, we can see the RPM and we can change over to fuel. We can save air also. If it is automatic, that flexibility will not be there. So, okay. So, what will happen in that case? You will be consuming parts kick when it is giving. You will be consuming more air, because that way air is timer based. That is the problem. If it is timer based, then it will means it has not started. It means, what does it mean? It means again and again it will try. That duration will be some seconds will be, and it will be whether it starts or not. That consumption will be there. You will be consuming more air. And why actually, as I told you, 12 consecutive start, you can have it during the sea trial. They successfully do. And but when in operation the engine, it is not happening. Even 6 start could not do. Tekas ships could not do the 6 start. Why? There are many factors which is there during the operation. Suppose your liner and the piston ring is sealing is not, which means sealing is not proper. Will you lose your pressure on the cylinder? You will be losing the pressure. So what will happen? That pressure is starting the engine. Your number of start will be, it means you will be consuming more air to start the engine. So each time you are attempting, your consumption will be high. If your exhaust valve is leaking, it's the same thing. You will be losing air. So there are many other factors. Even it means what will happen, you will be consuming more air to start each time you are trying to start, or you are starting, your consumption will be high. Apart from that, your fuel oil system also. Fuel oil system, if it is not proper, it means you have reached to an RPM where after compression, your temperature should be equal to your minimum, equal to your auto ignition temperature of the fuel. If your fuel temperature is not maintained properly, then also it means your RPM has to be higher. Your consumption of air will be higher. So there are various factors, and plus there is wear and tear. Because of that, what will happen? The friction increases as it is when it is new engine. It is a different, because sealing is maximum. As you are operating the engine, your sealing will be reduced, and the air consumption will be increases. So that's why all these factors has to be considered. External leakage. That's the reason, one of the reason, if you have a blackout, that time, that is the best time to see where the leakage is. Even the slight sound, the air leakage sound you will be getting. And the dry dock, that is the reason you must check where is if there is any leakage or not, you can rectify that. That time the generator, even a generator also is not running. So yes. Now, actually, Worlday has asked that how will you come to know that cylinder is leaking or the exhaust valve is leaking? Because both will affect the your number of start. So if your cylinder is leaking, that is the cylinder liner between the piston ring, then what will happen during the engine is in on fuel? That time that particular unit, the under piston area temperature will be higher. As well as if you put a screwdriver or the pipe or the tube, and you put on side in your ear and touch those cylinder, you will see there will be a hissing. If it is badly leaking, even you can, without that, you can hear the hissing sound. And the under piston area, that particular unit temperature will increase, and your compression pressure will be reduced. Compression pressure will reduce both cases. And if your exhaust valve is leaking, then there will be a hissing sound during the, if you hear the sound near to the exhaust manifold, you will see there is a hissing sound. So that will confirm that, and the exhaust temperature will, both the cases will increase. That will confirm whether it is from the exhaust valve or whether it is from your cylinder, that is the between the cylinder liner and the piston ring. So that will be the clear indication, because exhaust temperature will be increased in any cases, but your under piston area will increase for that particular unit if it is blow past. Clear, understood all day? So now, what is the material?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Yeah. What is the material we do use? The mild steel we use for the, and the spindle has to be stainless steel, because we know that what is the condition in which it is working. It is the highly corrosive, temperature is high. So stainless steel gives us the corrosion resistance as well as the temperature resistance, because as the temperature increases, your material becomes softer. So the material becomes weak. So the high tensile, the stainless steel is being used, because it has to be in closed condition when we are not operating that valve. So the spring tension should be such so that there is the spindle of that valve, air starting valve, it is always under tensile force. So that's why it should be high tensile stainless, or the stainless steel. It can be alloying material also we do use. And the valve seats, it is contact face is hardened. That stellite we have seen the exhaust valve, same stellite coating is given on the surface of the seat to make it harden. So that, because when the large quantity of your air is passing through it, there can be an erosion that can actually wear down your valve seat. So to avoid that, we make it harden by make it an stellite coating. It is built up the stellite coating and then machine it to the shape. So this is the material we do use for your air starting valve. Now this is the like slow turning valve we have seen. This is the slow turning valve we have, which is nothing but a parallel line to the main air starting valve. That is the automatic air starting valve. So it is parallelly, this capacity is less. That is the only difference. And these two valves has to be operated independently. It means when you want to turn the engine slowly, we open this valve. When we want to start the engine, we open this one. And it is just parallel. It is. And then here we have a non-return valve, and then distributor connection from here. This is the air distributor, and then distributor pilot air is going to the individual air starting valve. And then this is the main air which is coming to the lower chamber and of the valve, and then this pilot air is opening this valve, and then injection is taking place. Now here, if you see the safety valve, it is on the manifold. This is the manifold. So where, as per the regulation, you need to use the safety valve. Safety valve, if you have, you don't need to use the bursting disc or the bursting cap. So in that case, the safety valve either off. It means either you use the bursting disc or safety valve. The BMW, they don't use the safety valve. They use the bursting disc. Individual, that will be fitted individual unit. So all unit will be having. Here, as per the regulation, it is at the manifold. Yeah, Sophonius, tell me.
Okay, thank you, Chief. I don't understand what is the reason behind this. When it is reversible engine, we put the bursting discs on each unit, and if it is not reversible, we put it on the manifold.
Yeah.
And what is the reason?
Yes, the reason is how many times you will be starting and stopping and reversing the engine if it is reversible engine. Anytime we want to reverse the engine, we'll have to stop it and again restart. Whereas unidirectional engine only will be stopping when we want to stop the engine or the ship. So that is the reason number of times, it means each number of time you have using this valve, the use of this valve is much more compared to the reversible engine than the unidirectional engine. Suppose for an example, we have an unidirectional engine which is having a suppose a gearbox, and then we have a propeller shaft and a CPP we are using, or the reversing gear we are using. Our engine, even for the ship to move ahead and astern, engine is rotating in constant speed in same direction. We are not going to stop. Whereas if you have a reversible engine, each time we want to move, it is forward and aft, you need to stop again, restart in the other direction. So the number of time we are using this valve is much more. Each number of time we are using, there are chances of failure is more, because the number of time